Hey, this is Mike with the Studio for Teaching and Learning Innovation. Today, I want to talk about course website organization. It's really important to have your course organized in a logical way because it's going to reduce the barriers to student success. If they have an easy time finding their assignments and their schedule and all of those things, it's really going to go a long way towards student success, lowering their anxiety, and reducing the number of questions that they have for you along the way. So today I want to talk about three components to good course organization. The first is a clear landing page where you talk about the goals of the course and introduce yourself. The second is your menuing. We want to take a look at the menus and we want to make sure that the course is organized in some sort of modular fashion, whether you're organizing it by week or by concept or some sort of organizational structure. And the third thing we're going to look at is what happens once a student goes into one of those course modules, and do we have our goals for the module clearly defined, and are things laid out in an organized linear fashion? So we're going to look at all three of these concepts right now, and hopefully you'll have a better idea of how you want to organize your course. So let's take a look at this Blackboard site as it comes out of the box when you first create your site. The landing page that comes with your Blackboard site you see here is this weird home page. And I've got a bunch of stuff that students are just going to blow right past. My announcements, my tasks, what's new, needs attention, to do, and alerts. This is really very unuseful for most Blackboard course sites. So it's a lost opportunity here. What you can do is instead you can have a home page that introduces the course and introduces yourself. And you can use this home page for the first week or two of the semester, and then after the first week or two of classes, you can change that home page to be another landing page that might inform students about what's going on this week in the course. So instead of having students go automatically to this useless page, we can have a more useful page that we can actually give information to the students that they can use on a weekly basis. So let's figure out how to do that. First thing that I want to do is I want to delete this home page. And deleting a page is very easy. If you notice here, I have it listed here, home page at the top left. And if I hover over the arrow to the right of the home page, if I click on that, I have a bunch of options. One is to rename the link. I don't want to rename this link. Another is to hide the link. And another is to just delete it. I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And it's going to ask me if I want to delete the menu item, and I'll say yes. I'll click on delete this menu item. And then it really wants me to make sure I want to delete the menu item, and I'm going to hit delete. So now that menu item is deleted, and you'll notice it jumps to the next valid page that I have, which is the discussion board page. And we'll talk about whether or not you need a discussion board page when we talk about menuing. But now I want to create a new page. I want to create a welcome page. So the way I'll do that is if I go up to the top of the page, to the top of the menu, you'll see I've got a bunch of options. I've got a plus, and I've got these other icons here. If I hover over the plus, you'll see I get a bunch of options. Content area is the one that I want to choose. So I'll add a new content area. And I want to call this welcome. And I want to make that available to users by checking this box, and I click submit. And now I've got this welcome page, and you'll notice that I have a little grayed out box over here, which means that there's no content in that welcome page yet. And that also means that it's not going to be visible to students. Any page that you see that has a gray box next to it means that it has no content and it's not available to users. And you'll also notice that you've got other gray boxes, but these have lines through them. And that means that the link is hidden from students. So none of these are going to be visible to students, the ones that you see: assignments, syllabus, information, because there's no content in it, purchase course material, and research and adopt course materials because they are hidden from students. But now I need that welcome page to be the landing page. It's right at the bottom right now, and now all I need to do is drag it up to the top. And to drag it up to the top, I'll hover over the left-hand side where I see the 4 arrows appear. And if I click and drag, I can drag that right up to the very top. And I'll plop that down. And now once I've got that page at the top, I can start filling it out. So what do we want in the welcome page? That's a great question. So I'm going to click on the welcome page. And I've got a bunch of options here you see at the top. And the first one is build content. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build content and I'm going to create an item. And the very basics, I want to say welcome to the course. And now I've got a text box and I can type in whatever I want here. Usually I want to say about the course. And I might want to fill out some information about the course and about the instructor. And it'll be nice to have an image of the instructor or maybe even a video of the instructor, but right now this is the very basics that you want to have on your welcome page for the first week or two of the course at least, so students can see what the course is about and students can see what the instructor is about. And maybe even if you wanted to have a course goals, just to lay those out at the very beginning. So I'll hit submit. And now you see I've got the welcome to the course, about the instructor, and course goals. And we can get into the details of how you might make these look good, but right now this is a great start to your course, the welcome to the course. Okay, so now that we've made a landing page with some welcome information, let's take a look at the menu on the left side and see if we can organize that in a way that makes sense to the students. So I've got my menu here and we've created that welcome page, and now what I like to do is I like to delete everything on the side here that I don't really need. So information I don't think makes any sense, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And syllabus, I might want to put a syllabus in there, so I'll leave that. Discussions leads to the discussion board, and I don't know if I want a discussion board yet, so I'm going to delete that. It's very easy to add a discussion board tool once you decide that you want it. So I like to start from bare bones. So again, I'm going to click on the downward arrow next to the menu item I want to delete, and I'm going to hit delete. And follow all the prompts to delete it. So assignments, I don't think that's a really useful thing to have here because we don't really want to group all the assignments for the entire semester in the one bulk assignments area. So I'll pull down on the arrow here and I'll hit delete and delete content and delete. And tools is going to, it's okay to leave the tools there for now, so we'll leave the tools there. Send email might be a useful thing to have. Help brings you to the Blackboard help, and I don't consider that to be necessarily helpful. You can leave it if you like. What I like to do is I like to get rid of it myself, but you can keep it. Instructor contact information, I think that that's much better in your welcome page, but you can leave instructor contact information. Purchase course materials is a link to the bookstore, so I just generally tend to delete that because it's just taking up space. And finally, research and adopt course materials, I delete that as well. And don't worry about the course management area, the students don't see that. So now I've got the very bare bones. I've got welcome page, I've got the syllabus page that I can upload syllabus to. I've got the tools, which if you click on tools, you'll see all the different tools that you have an option to use. Send email, help, and instructor contact information. But now let's start building a module. The first module that I build is really dependent on the course that I'm building. I like to create a course by weeks. So I'll create a week 1 module. And I'll go to the plus up here at the top and I'll go to create content area. And I'll call this week 1. And I'll make that available to users and I'll click submit. And I'll create a week 2 module. So content area, again, plus content area, week 2. And make that available to users and click submit. And you can do this for the entire semester, but you can also hide these things from students so that you can create all the 15 or 16 weeks of your course, but only make the weeks available to them that you want them to have access to. And you can go ahead, that makes the menu a lot easier to navigate. And also it doesn't have students jump ahead to see what else is there if you don't want them to do that. So if I did want to hide week 2, I could click on the arrow here by week 2, and I can hide the link. And you'll notice now instead of a gray box, meaning there's no content in there, there's a gray box with an X through it. And there's also that gray box that says that there's no content in it. but it also says that it's unavailable to students. And then I'm just going to drag these the same way that I dragged the welcome page up to the top. Well, let's drag it underneath the syllabus. Week 1, week 2. And I can even put an underscore under each of these to define things. So let's do that as well. So between the syllabus and week 1, I want to have a line. So if I go to the plus again, I can add a divider. And now I can drag that divider right under syllabus. And now it makes a nice line between syllabus and week 1 and week 2. And I'm going to create another divider. And I can drag that underneath week 2. So that makes things a lot more clear. And you can see how this is already more nicely laid out than the original Blackboard menu. So play around with the menus, see what makes sense for you. And don't be afraid to delete areas, because you can always recreate those areas once you delete them. Think about how you'd like to see a course if you were the student in the course, and how you'd like things laid out. Okay, so we're almost there. We've created a welcome page you can fill out later. We have decided on a course menu, and we've started to structure that menu based on a weekly plan. And now the next thing that I want to do is I want to show you what you might want to do at the very beginning of your week 1. So I'll click on week 1 to select it. And I'm going to go to build content, and I'll create an item just the same way that I did on the welcome page. And I might say week 1 goals. And here's where I would just lay it out, what's going on this week. Along with due dates, along with other information that you might find valuable. But it's just a roadmap to what's going to happen this week, and you should look at it like that. And I'll hit submit. So we've got the week 1 goals, and now you might want to start going ahead to populate what happens in week 1. You may want to number those sections so that the students know the order that they should go in. So if I build content and I create an item, I might say 1.1 reading, and that's where I might attach a reading, create an item, 1.2 video, build content. Then maybe I want students to do not a content item, but maybe I want to have an assessment there. So I want to have them hand in an assignment. So I can go to the assessments area, and I can go to assignment. The nice thing about building an assignment like this is that that automatically gets populated in your grade center as an assignment, and that's where students will submit their assignments. And then you can grade them right in grade center, or you can download them all in a batch. So this is how I usually create an assignment or a test, is I do it right from the assessments area. And let's say the third thing I want them to do is the assignment, and I'll click on assignment. And it'll create that assignment. So now I can say 1.3 assignment or paper or reaction paper, whatever I want. And that's it. And then I'll just hit submit, or I could give it some instructions, and I'll say submit. Oh, value must be provided. I'll say okay. So I'm going to grade it on 100 points, and I'll click submit. So now we've started to lay out the structure of each of the weekly areas, and you'll want to flesh this out obviously with some details and directions, and we can talk about that later. But today we're just talking about organization and the basics of good organization in keeping students on task. So now we've got it. We've got a welcome page, we've got a menu that makes sense, and we're starting to structure our modules in a way that's going to help students navigate the course.